Though, a closer look here at the 5-week trial in New York City where a jury found Live Nation and Ticketmaster operated as a monopoly, overcharging people for tickets to concerts. 9 News legal expert Whitney Traylor is here this morning to break down this ruling for us. So long trial, 5 weeks, longish. Let's talk about what exactly happened yesterday with this verdict.
Yeah, so it was significant. This is a major consequence. Essentially, the jury came back and said that Live Nation and Ticketmaster did engage in anti-competitive activity, that they had formed a monopoly. And they really concluded that based on the various factors. So they controlled the artist in many regards, the venues, and the ticketing. And so what they would do is if an artist came and wanted to perform at their venue, they'd say, you have to use our Ticketmaster. And if they were using Ticketmaster, they'd say you have to come to our venue. And they forced them into these long-term contracts. And so the jury came back and said, yeah, that is anti-competitive. And this was just the liability phase of the trial. So the judge is going to determine the remedies. But with respect to that, they did say that they overcharged the $1.72 per ticket at certain venues. So that's going to amount to about $150 million. And then there could be treble damages on top of that. But the fact that they came back and said it was a monopoly was significant.
This has been going on forever. I mean,
Yes.
I remember back in the 90s, bands like Pearl Jam were so anti-Ticketmaster.
Yes.
But I believe it was just last month, right, when the DOJ and some states settled with Live Nation.
Yeah.
So what was the terms of that settlement?
Right. So the initial case was the DOJ and 34 states suing. And right after the trial started, the DOJ, in a last-minute kind of quirky thing, there's a lot of suspect conditions about that, but they settled with about 4 states, and so they agreed to pay $280 million, cap their service fees at a certain amount. And some people said, look, this isn't enough, because Live Nation last year made $25 billion, $500 million in profits. So a $280 million sort of fine settlement is not significant, but those states did drop out after they settled, and then the rest of the states went forward with this trial, including Colorado. Colorado stayed in the suit.
So for the situation in New York, we heard from the jury yesterday, we heard their ruling. We still have to hear from the judge.
Yeah.
So what happens next here?
So next, like most trials, there's going to be a bunch of post-trial motions. So they're going to file motions about damages. They're going to file a motion to try and overturn the jury's verdict, which they'll lose that motion.
Okay.
But then the judge will ultimately determine the remedies. And so here, this is the injunctive aspect of the lawsuit. The liability was handled by the jury, but now the judge can say, we're going to put a consent decree on you. We're going to break you up. We're going to limit these type of things. So that's where the real meat of the case, I think, comes in. And so that'll be probably a couple months before they'll have that hearing, and then the judge will issue the remedies aspect of the trial.
So this is the part that matters most to our viewers. Ticket prices. I don't know if this is just speculation or if you have anything more concrete, but what does this really mean for ticket prices moving forward?
Well, I think most experts are saying that it's going to not have a big impact in the short term, especially as these trials are going, as the post-trial motions are happening and there may be appeals and things like that. But depending on what the judge does in terms of breaking it up, I mean, this is the heart of antitrust. The notion behind antitrust is, look, if somebody gets too big, and they said they had 80% of the ticketing, then there's no competition. So they can charge what they want, they can treat consumers how they want. But if they break that up and now it's divided and you have StubHub and all these other type of businesses, then that's going to be better for the consumer. So I do think in the long term or maybe medium term, ticket prices will go down. I don't know if it's an $800 ticket, maybe it'll go down to $700. I don't know how much it'll go down, but I do firmly believe that ticket prices will go down eventually.
We have 20 seconds to experience the personal side of Whitney Traylor.
Oh,
Can I put you on the spot?
Sure.
Just a few seconds.
Okay.
Best concert you've ever been to, Whitney?
Oh my goodness, best concert?
At least one of the best concerts.
Okay, that's probably gonna be D'Angelo. When I saw D'Angelo in Atlanta in a small venue, he was just coming out. It was amazing. The whole crowd was with him. So that was beautiful. Sting was a great concert.
Oh, yeah? Yep.
I've seen Michael Jackson.
Ladies,
that was good.
Ladies and gentlemen, the personal side of Whitney Traylor, brought to you by 9 News Mornings.